Well, good morning. It is March the 30th, 2026, and straight from the highly caffeinated studio, this is According to Willie B., and I, yours truly, will be your host for the next half hour, if I live that long. What I mean by that? Well, I'm still fighting this whole chest congestion voice thing going on, but you know what? They always say the show must go on. So, all three of us in a room, let's get it going and let's dive in. So today I want to talk to you about packing light and living big. What do I mean? Let's dive in. Have you ever packed for a trip and by day 3, you're wearing the same 2 outfits and staring at a suitcase full of what if, wondering why you brought half of your closet with you? Yeah, me too. And I've got a story at my expense that I'm going to tell you later on in the show. So this fall, I've told y'all that we're doing a 12-day Mediterranean trip, and I'm going to do something I've never done before. And I'm not talking about eating grilled octopus here. I'm talking about I'm going to be packing lighter than I ever have. Backpack and a carry-on. That's it. 12 days, nothing but a backpack and a carry-on. And I'll be honest with you, that decision, it's kind of messing with my head a little bit. And I don't need anything messing with what 2 brain cells I got clanking around up there. Let me tell you. There are 2 types of people in the travel world. The just-in-case packer and the I'll-figure-it-out packer. Now, the just-in-case packer, they're prepared. They got outfits for dinner, backup outfits for dinner, and a third option, just in case the mood changes. Shoes, they got options. Casual shoes, dress shoes, comfortable walking shoes, and then shoes that look good in pictures. Man, oh man. Meanwhile, the I'll figure it out traveler has 3 shirts and 1 pair of pants. Now, this is a level of confidence that should probably be studied by NASA. And here's the truth. Most of us, myself included, we think we're somewhere in the middle, but we lean heavy because we're not just packing for the trip. We're packing for the version of ourselves that we think we're going to be on that trip. Now, hear me when I say we, because I'm including myself. I'm not pointing anybody out here. I am including myself in this conversation. And when I tell you the story at my expense, you'll understand why. Let's talk about the psychology. Let's talk about why we do this. Because this part matters. We don't pack clothes. We pack security. Did you catch that? We pack security. We pack for control. We pack for comfort. We pack because somewhere in the back of our mind, we're thinking, what if I need this? What if the weather changes? What if there's a nicer dinner? What if something unexpected happens? What if I get invited to a dinner party on an open-top submarine? Let that sink in. No pun intended. And the question, what if? That's what fills your suitcase. But here's the flip side. What if you trusted yourself just enough to figure it out? Now, I had a boss one time that always told me every time I got myself into a situation, he said, figure it out. What if peace of mind didn't come from having everything at our fingertips, but from knowing that you don't need everything? All right, here comes the story at my expense. I promised you, and here we go. I remember my very first cruise. It was on Royal Caribbean, never forget it, nice ship. I had won the cruise through a food service company back when we had the restaurant. And It went to the Bahamas, and they gave us a packet that had all of our documents in there. Inside that packet was also a list. And yes, it was a list. I didn't know what to expect, didn't know what I'd need, but I had that list. Oh, yeah. You had a packing list. Now, reading through that packing list, you had suggestions for formal night, casual night, excursion clothes, pool clothes, dinner outfits, backup dinner outfits. And then shoes for this, shoes for that. And yes, even, and I kid you not when I say this, it had boat shoes. Now, you're talking to someone who's never been on a trip like this, never been on a cruise ship. I didn't know why I would need boat shoes, but I knew that I didn't want to get on the boat and not have boat shoes. I could just, in my mind, imagine that the whole boat full of people, they were all going to have boat shoes. And we were going to go to this little party in a room, and I was going to be the only one without boat shoes. So guess what? Yours truly went and bought a pair of boat shoes. The ugliest shoe known to mankind, period. End of quote. You can quote me on that. I'm sorry. Maybe it was because it was back in the 90s. I don't know. All I can tell you is those were some ugly shoes. They looked like a boat. They look like they shouldn't be worn on a boat, that they should be used to maybe, I don't know, polish a boat. But whatever the case may be, I followed that list like it was the law. I kid you not. I packed everything on that list. And I didn't use half of it. Half. Let that sink in. I didn't use half of that. What did I have? I had more options in my suitcase than they had on the buffet at midnight. And I still wore the same shirt twice. So that's my story at my expense. But I'll tell you what, that's when it hit me. That list, that wasn't built for my trip. It was built for every possible trip. And I packed for all of them, competently at that. So let's talk about the internet for a second. Because if you go online, you will find packing advice for everything. In case, what to pack for a Europe, what to pack for a cruise, must have travel essentials. You can't go without this, you can't go without that. Those are suggestions for the proverbial trip, if you will. And some of it, it's helpful. But a lot of it is overkill. Too many shoes. Too many just-in-case outfits. And just in case you're wondering, I put that just in case in air quotes. Too many things you might need, but probably won't. Because the internet doesn't pack for your trip. Look in the mirror. Your trip doesn't pack for that. It packs for possibility. But what do we travel for? We travel for the experience. Experience packs for probability. So when you're packing your suitcase, I probably will need this. I probably won't need this. And those are two very different things. Possibility and probability. Now, let me give you a cheat code. Now, you kids today call it a life hack. So, life hack cheat code, I'm going to give it to you. If you're not driving, grab a pencil, a crayon, piece of paper, because here it is. It's one word. Are you ready? I hope you're sitting down because it's laundry. That's right, laundry. That's the whole hack. Hotel laundry services, local laundromats, even washing some things in the sink and then hanging them over the shower curtain or whatever and let them dry from there. It works because laundry changes the game. Laundry can turn a 5-day suitcase into a 15-day strategy. How's that possible? I'm going to explain it to you. Because once you understand that, you stop packing for the entire trip and start packing for a few days at a time. Let's break it down so make sure that I don't lose anybody. Heavy packing, the pros, options, preparedness, comfort, because you packed for all the what if. Now, the cons, weight, stress, decision, fatigue, extra fees, probably if your luggage went over the 50-pound weight on the airline. Too many choices is still a problem. Now, light packing, speed, freedom, flexibility. Less to carry, less to manage, and less to think about. Because let's be honest, if you got 3 shirts, it's not going to be real hard to decide which shirt you're going to wear, because if you've already worn 2, you're pretty much going to go for that third one. Or you may wear the same shirt every day. I don't know. It's up to you. But that matters more than people realize, because heavy packing prepares you. Please hear me on this next couple of statements. Heavy packing prepares you for everything. No brain needed. You're prepared for whatever comes your way. Or are you? Because remember what we talked about a while back when we're planning a trip. You plan for everything, but just always know that something is going to come along, is going to be a bump in the road, and you're not going to be prepared for it. You can't prepare for everything. You can try, but there's always going to be something in every trip, whether it be small or whether it be grandeur, it's going to be something that you didn't plan for, and you got to know how to pivot and roll with the punches that we say. But let's look at this. Light packing prepares you for anything. And you're saying, okay, well, that's the same thing. No, it's not, because heavy packing prepares you for everything. So you think light packing prepares you for anything. Why are you prepared for anything? Because when you pack light, you are packing and you are preparing yourself for, and you have to be strategic for things that could and are a high probability of, how many dinners you're going to go to. You're there 6 nights, you're probably going to eat dinner 6 times. So you can be prepared. So how do we train ourselves to pack light? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen people, myself included back in the day, roll up in the airport with a suitcase the size of a 1974 Fleetwood Cadillac 75, 253 inches long. So when I say I've seen some big suitcases, I've seen some big suitcases. And if I was going by car, driving to the port, rolling that 700-pound luggage to the ship, and then I didn't have to touch it all week, that might be okay. But when you're going on a trip, and there's a lot of different scenarios, but the trip that we're going on this fall, you're going to places that they're really not large luggage friendly. A lot of taxis are small. The trains are small. The boats in Venice are small. I mean, the list goes on. And the terrain that you have to pull them over. I mean, I'm not part donkey. I don't know that I can pack like that and get through all of it. So I'm packing light. Now, every time that I have traveled in my life, I have always tried to pack a little bit lighter than the last time, because no one says, I promise you, no one says, I carried 2 suitcases. I wish I'd have packed a little heavier and took 3 suitcases. Nobody ever says they wish they had packed heavier. They always say they wish they would have packed lighter, because they come home with as many clean clothes as they did dirty clothes. And I get it. You want to make sure you have options. But packing light is a skill. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly become a minimalist traveler. You train for it. And I can promise you, I used to roll up in the airport and I had on a belt and I had on my watch and I had on shoes with laces, and you get where I'm going with that. And it took me a few minutes to get through security. When you see me roll through the airport now, I'm wearing sweatpants, t-shirt, slip-on shoes, no belt, no watch. It's simple. I'm going to get through that security just as quick and slippery as a biscuit sliding through gravy. I mean, I just don't know what to tell you, but I'm going through there, slick as a whistle, as they say, because I'm trying to be there for the experience, not to be cumbersome. So let's look at this. We're going to train for it. There's going to, so when you train or when you want to do something, there's always rules. So I'm going to give you the rules. If you're driving, you'll have to write them down right now. But rule number 1, pack outfits, not items. Everything has to work together, and we're going to get more into that in a second. Rule number 2, if you won't wear it twice, don't bring it. That one alone cuts your packing in half. Rule number 3, lay everything out that you want to put into the suitcase. Cut it in half. Yes, trust me, you're going to hate it at first, but it works. I know, I'm not gaining a lot of friends right here, but you just trust me on this. Rule number 4, neutral colors. And there's going to be a caveat to this next statement, so just hold on. Everything matches everything. Gentlemen, when you go to do this part, make sure you include your spouse to help you, because I know for me, for everything to match everything, okay, so one's pants and one's a shirt. Yep, it matches. We just don't want to see stripes and plaid together. You can only imagine what you would probably, but just involve somebody to help you, because there's no thinking required. It's everything matches. You can mix and match throughout the whole thing. Rule number 5. This one is for the ladies. And I apologize before I make the statement. Shoes. Now, see, their ears are perking up, and I know there's some in the background. Be careful, Will, what the next word's coming out of your mouth. I will. But shoes will ruin your whole plan. Limit them. Be disciplined. I didn't say you couldn't take shoes. I just said be disciplined. And husbands, no, you won't be able to help out with that one, because you may not get to go on the trip if you provide your advice or your comments yeah. All right. Packing light. It isn't a sacrifice. It's a skill. It's something that you don't do the first time. You gradually work your way into it. So for this trip, the 12 days in the Mediterranean, I'm rolling with a backpack. And it's not an ordinary backpack. So, and this is I'm not, doing any kind of promo for this company or whatever. And I've still got 2 or 3 that I'm looking at. So if y'all have a specific one out there that rivals the one I'm about to tell you, let me know, because I've been researching these before I pull the trigger on one. But this one is made by a company called Mouse, M-O-U-S, no E. So it's almost like an indestructible backpack, and you can supposedly, in the model that I'm looking at, you can pack 7 days. But just to be safe, I'm going to take a carry-on, because there's some things you can't carry onto the planes. But so rolling with a backpack and a carry-on. That's it. And yeah, that is a big shift for me. But here's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it just to see if I can survive on one sock and half a t-shirt and a pair of pants. That's not why I'm doing it. Because of where we're going, I'm trying to plan ahead so that I can be more flexible. I'm not bogged down with luggage. I want movement. I want flexibility. I want to go from one spot to the next without dragging my whole life behind me. Now, I'm doing this because I'm a content creator, and I want to be able to swish and move and be light and be able to catch a moment if I see one. And that matters, because when you pack light, you don't just travel easier, you create better. More spontaneous stops, more flexibility, more moments that you didn't plan for. But those could end up being the best ones. at the end of the day, this really isn't about packing. It's about what you carry. Because the more you bring, the more you manage, the more you think about, the more you worry about, then that'll be the less that you actually experience. And why are we traveling in the first place? And travel is about experience. It's about the moments in the experience, not materials. Freedom, not friction. So maybe the goal isn't to pack less. Maybe the goal is to need less. And that, my friends, is according to Willie B this week. Do not forget to caffeinate and conquer. And remember, I am super excited. I hope that I am over all this congestion stuff, although the pollen here in North Carolina is about as thick as gravy on a biscuit. I'm telling you, it's about to get the best of me. But next week's show will not only be audio, it will be video as well. So you have your options. Somebody had messaged me and said, but I can't do video. I have to do audio. Don't worry, you're getting both. So there's always going to be the audio channel, wherever you listen to your podcast from. And then on YouTube, there will be a video. So we'll be shooting the video, the whole episode in video and the audio, and then putting in the magic of our computer and separating it all out. So you'll still get to hear your same podcast just the way you do right now, but there will also be an option for video. So you can see some of my facial reactions to some of the things that I talk about. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but hey, don't forget to caffeinate and conquer. I'll see you again next week. I promise, right here behind this big old mic. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.